Everybody, hope you're doing well. We are going to do some more work with angles. So with our warm-up, let's do a little bit of practice from this last week on complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles. So find one set of each type of angle. Okay, so like I said, we are going to work more with angles. We are going to talk about a transversal and parallel lines and how certain types of angles match up to that. And you'll see that we're going to be talking about corresponding, interior, exterior, and alternate. Okay. So what a transversal means is that it means that you have parallel lines and you are intersecting those parallel lines in two different places. So we are dealing with angles that are going to have parallel lines and a transversal. Okay, so supplementary angles are going to be those that add up to be 180 degrees. We already covered this last week, but it looks a little bit different when we're talking about parallel lines and a transversal. So we would have 1 and 3, or 2 and 4, or 1 and 2, or 3 and 4, 5 and 7, 7 and 8, 6 and 8, 5 and 6. All of those are supplementary pairs, okay? So it just looks a little bit different in this kind of a situation. Okay, the first new one we're talking about is a corresponding angle. So it is an angle that lies on the same side of a transversal and on the same side of the intersected lines. So they are congruent angles, and you'll notice that they're both on each side of the parallel line and on the same side of the transversal. Okay, so corresponding. And again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to be writing these into your notes so that when it comes proficiency time, you're going to actually be able to access them and remember the difference between the different types of angles. Okay, so corresponding, same side of the transversal, same part of the parallel lines. Same side interior, okay, angles that lie on the same side, hence the same side of the transversal and between the parallel lines. Okay, so same side of the transversal, in between, they are supplementary angles. That means same side interior angles add up to be 180 degrees. The next one is an alternate interior angle. So interior is inside of the parallel lines, and alternate because they're on either side of the transversal. Okay, so 1 and 2 is an example of an alternate interior. Okay, they're not adjacent, they don't touch. Okay, and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. Those angles are congruent. Okay, and then alternate exterior angles. So exterior being on the outside of the parallel lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, those again are congruent. So just to recap, corresponding, same side of the transversal, same part of the parallel lines, same side interior, same side of the transversal and in between the parallel lines. Alternate interior, inside. Interior is a good thing for thinking inside of the parallel lines and opposite sides. And then exterior would be outside of the parallel lines and on opposite sides. Okay, so we are going to recognize some of these. So I'm going to actually pull up my other screen so that we can see a little bit better. Okay, so corresponding angles, I am going to say that they are orange. Okay, so corresponding angles would be 2 and 6, would be 4 and 8. Okay, so 2 and 6, 4 and 8. And then I'm not going to mark up the other side, but you can see that it'd be 1 and 5, 3 and 7. Okay, so corresponding. So now we're going to talk about same side interior, and I'm going to mark those brown. Okay, same side interior would be like 5 and 3. The only other option would be 4 and 6. Okay, Same side of the transversal in between the parallel lines. So now we're going to talk about alternate interior, and I'm going to do that in like this purpley pink color. So interior is inside the parallel lines. Alternate means that they are on opposite sides. So 5 and 4, 3 and 6. Okay, they're opposite but inside of the parallel lines. And then lastly would be our alternate exterior, and I'm going to do those red, and that would be 7 and 2 and 1 and 8. Outside the parallel lines, opposite sides. Okay? So what happens if we start actually looking to find some measures? Okay, so in this one, we're going to say that the measure of angle 4 is 82. Okay, then we're going to find the measure of angle 5, and then we'll do another example. So let me pull up my screen again. Okay, so if this angle right here is 82, and we need to find 5, the first thing we need to figure out is what type of angle are they. So hopefully you recognize that they are corresponding. Sorry, not corresponding. Same side, interior. Same side, interior. Inside the parallel lines, okay? And same side of the transversal. So we know same side interior has to be equal to 180 degrees. So to figure out what angle 5 is, we would take 180, subtract 82, and that tells us that 85 or angle 5 would be 98 degrees. Not like the music group. Just kidding. That's kind of cheesy. All right. So now we're going to look at a different scenario. Same diagram, different scenario. This scenario is saying that angle 3 is 122 degrees. And we want angle 5 in this manner. So what type of angles do we have? Well, they're inside the parallel lines. They're on opposite sides. So this would be alternate interior angles. Okay? Alternate interior angles. And those angles are equal. So that tells us that angle 5 is 122. Okay? So our first example shows us that we have same side interior. Our second example gives us alternate interior. And so those are two ways of doing it. Okay, here's another example, okay, that we're going to work through. So let me pull up the screen again. All right, so in this first example, it says that the measure of angle 5 is 69 degrees. And we want to know what measure 10 is. So again, they are inside the parallel lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. So they would be alternate interior, which are equal. So that means that angle 10 is also 69 degrees. Okay. So now we're going to use angle 5 again. And we are going to say that angle 5 is 86 degrees. And we need to know what angle 12 is. So you recognize that they're inside of parallel lines, but they're on the outside of them. Okay? So this is on the outside and this is on the outside. So these would be alternate exterior. they are equal as well. So that tells us that angle 12 is also 86 degrees. Okay, so there's not a ton of solving that comes with finding these angles. It's more just identifying and then using your rules. Aside from supplementary, complementary, and same side interior that you have an actual degree that they're going to add up to, the rest of them are just an identification. Okay, just an identification. So I'm going to have you guys practice on this one. Okay, you are going to find the measure. Let me zoom it in a little bit for you. You guys are going to say that the measure of angle 3 is 105. You are going to find measure 6 or measure of angle 6. And then you're going to do it again where the measure of angle 6 is 74 and you're going to find what 2 is. Okay, so take a second and see if you can identify, first of all, what type of angle it is, and second of all, what the actual measure would be. Okay, so here is another type of example. This one is 2 sets of parallel lines, so you have to be able to kind of split them up into each different transversal. So I'm going to have you guys practice this one as well. First of all, trying to identify what type of angle, and then what the measure would be. So for the first one, angle 9 is 115 degrees. You need angle 6. And for the second one, angle 4 is 114 and you need angle 14. All right, so hopefully you guys are getting the hang of this. If not, please make sure and go back and watch this to get your notes so that you could draw a small little diagram into your notes that shows you what the angles are going to be and look like. Okay, your guys' assignment for today is the exit ticket that is posted into Google Classroom. Go ahead and fill that out and submit that in Google Classroom. And again, like always, if you are struggling at all with any of this content, please come to office hours or reach out to me so that we can set up a time to work on this. Have a good day.